It's the Joel Shit Show, featuring Joel Shit. Hi, welcome to the Joel Shit Show. I'm your host, Joel Shit. So I woke up yesterday and I had to be in San Francisco at 9 o'clock because I had an interview with AcademyX.com. That's Academy and the letter X.com. And I need to be there at 9, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take Caltrain. I wake up and it's raining. Well, I just shut down when it rains. I do not like taking public transportation when it's raining. It's just a good opportunity to increase the chance you're going to get sick. So, if I have the ability to drive, I will drive. So it's like, okay, I got to be in the city. I will leave at 7:20. That should give me enough time to get to the city. And it took me 85 minutes to drive 50 miles. Got onto 280 and it sucked until almost Palo Alto, and then it was fine. Then I got into San Francisco, and it was just stop and go and stop and go. And, this isn't a bad economy and everything. So imagine what it's like when things are going really well. So now I'm in the city, and I got to find parking. So I'm like, okay, there's a parking garage called the South Portsmouth Parking Garage. That's where I'm going to park. And then I'm at a red light, and I'm like, okay, there's Montgomery, there's Academy X. That means the garage is 2 blocks up. So I'm driving, and I go, wait a minute. There's plenty of street parking. Why go in a garage? So I pull into a street parking. I pull over, park in a meter. And this is all in Chinatown, by the way. And so I look at the meter. Parking in San Francisco is now $2.50 an hour. If you put in a nickel, you get like 1.2 minutes, I think. Because let's see, a quarter gives you 6 minutes. So yes, a nickel gives you 1.2 minutes, but the sign says you get 2 minutes. I think that if I had saved all my Nickel City nickels and brought them with me, I could have gotten a bargain because I would have got an hour for $1.50. If everything, it's all digital. Like you put in the money and then the little timer thing moves up. It's all digital, so you know exactly how many minutes you have. You'd think that they would make a nickel worth 2 minutes, but no, it's worth 2 minutes. So I put in like all the change I had in the car, like $2 worth of change. I've got 47 minutes, and it's a good word problem, really. Someday if I'm teaching math, that's going to be the word problem. You're at a parking meter in San Francisco, and you need to figure out how long you can park. So I got there at 8:43, and I had 47 minutes, so I had till 9:30, and the interview was at 9. I said, this probably shouldn't take long. So, it's raining a little bit. It stopped raining now, though. So I'm walking, and I've got my tie on, and I've got the tie that I'm going to wear to my Cal State East Bay interview, whenever that's going to be, hopefully next week, because the colors are red, black, and white, and the school colors at Cal State East Bay are red and black. Which is why we would say red and black is back in the proverbial day, when it was Cal State Hayward. So I walk up, and it's, okay, we need you to fill these things out. He talks to me for a couple of minutes. I'm the first guy that they're interviewing because they called me the day before, and they're like, when can you come in? I said, how about tomorrow morning? Because I had to be in at 11 at my contract job, and I didn't want to put the interview off and have them pick someone else. So I was the first interview. So he gave me a sentence talking about Microsoft Word and the spell check function, and he said, rewrite this sentence 5 different ways. Okay, so I did that. Then the next section, it's a heading, a sentence, and a team of bullets. I know they call it sets of bullets. I call them teams of bullets. And it said, rewrite this 3 ways and use HTML to lay it out so it would look like that if you put it on the web. So I did that. And then the last part was the fun part. It said, take these 2 words and make a sentence out of them. And he'd pick really crazy words like pelican and hard drive. So I said, the zookeeper keeps track of what the pelicans eat on his computer, and for portability carries around an external hard drive so he can show everyone what the pelicans are eating, or something like that. It was a better sentence than that, but I made it work. And there were 2 other sets of just different words, and I made sentences out of those 2. So that was fun. So this whole thing took about 45 minutes. So I get back to my car, and it's like 9:50, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll get a ticket. But it's okay, because if I got this job, it's fine. And it went well. I think he's going to give it to me, because he needs more than one person. I don't think it went as well as it could have, but I think that it went well enough. You're not always at your best. By definition, You're only at your best when you're at your best. I was close to my best. I try to save my worst from when I'm sleeping, because it affects only one other person, and the cat. So I go to the car, there's no ticket, it's pouring down rain. So I get in the car, and I drive to Los Altos, taking off my tie while I'm driving, because I don't need a tie for this job. So I get to Merchant Circle at 11:02, and honestly, that's pretty damn good. So we worked for 8 hours, 7 o'clock, updating the forums, and there's a lot of traffic on the Merchant Circle forums now, and I think that the people I was working with and myself, I think that we had a lot to do with that. They're very happy with the work that we did. So 7 o'clock runs around, and the person who brought us in comes to give us our checks. And the thing is, we did such a good job, they don't need us anymore. Originally, this was going to, well, they said 2 or 3 days. It turned out to be 2 days. But they want us back when they need us to do something. They're a startup, they have 17 employees. Things happen where they need to just tap someone on the shoulder and say, hey, can you get your ass down here? So while I'm waiting for something else to happen, I'll be available for them. And of course, should something open up in a more permanent fashion with them, I'd want to do that too. MerchantCircle.com is pretty good if you have a, what do you call it, a small business. Good stuff, good stuff. And I found a lot of things I could do for them on their site. Write reviews, fix mistakes, find bugs, test the usability of the site, but they need to need it. You know, like just they need lots of things. But it's not. There's only 17 of them, so I could find a mistake and I'd be like, hey, why don't you fix that mistake? And they'll be like, because we don't have the bandwidth for it. Bandwidth is a fancy way of saying other things are more important than this. So that ended up. Went home, got my stuff for KSCU, went to the station, had my show, and my external hard drive broke again. I leave it out. There's only one place you can plug it in, and so if someone walks by and doesn't pay attention, they can trip over the cord, and odds are the hard drive will fall over because it stands up, like the El Cortez in Las Vegas, and it will fall over, and Seagate hard drives are pretty fragile. So that's what happened, unless a representative from Seagate is watching, in which case it just stopped working and I have no idea why. So I didn't have any music off my hard drive to play. So what happens? I play a bunch of short songs and my show ends half an hour early. Oops! So I'm thinking, well, what am I going to play? Because I have a little system of what I play that usually takes about 3 hours. Well, since I'm going to have the guys from Stupid Mario Brothers on my show, not this show, the radio show, kscu.org. Since I'm going to have them on this summer when their movie comes out, I figured I should start talking about that. So I played their parody of Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. It's called Games Are Our One Desire. And so I played that, and then I played some dance music from the early 90s that I haven't heard in a long time, and then it was time to go. And so then I got in the car and I went home. Other things happen too, but that's plenty. So all the time we have today. Visit us on the web at joelshitshow.com. Email joel@joelshitshow.com.